Filmmakers Lab. Lena-Colleen. Filmmakers Lab. Lena-Colleen. Filmmakers Lab. Lena-Colleen. Filmmakers Lab. Filmmakers Lab.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Filmmakers Lab Podcast, where we educate you about the film industry while we inspire you to follow your dreams. My name is Lena-Colleen. I'm your host. And today I have a guest that I consider an exceptional talent. And I have a great deal of respect for her. She's a writer. She's a director. She's a sought-after casting director. She is the writer and director of Essence Magazine's top 7 pick for the best web series, Side Chick. She is also the owner of a production company called The Story of Agency. Just that name alone shows you just how creative she is and how apt she is. And we're going to get into that, where that came from. But I would like to introduce to everyone Ashley MacArthur.
What's up?
Ashley, I'm so glad you came on my show. I'm
Look,
so grateful.
I would drive, girl. But
Yeah,
I'm here.
you know it. So let's get into it right away.
Okay.
How did you get into the business?
Well, I went to school for this. So,
What school?
Georgia Southern University.
Okay.
Yeah, when I moved down here, because, I'm from up north.
Yep.
And so
New York.
I went to school for mass comm, minor in film.
Okay.
But I've known that I wanted to do film for like ever since I was a child. So fast forward, how did I actually get into it? I don't even really feel like I'm into it. But
Why not?
when we say how'd you get into the industry, how did you just get into entertainment, film? When I think industry, I think Hollywood.
Right.
So, and because I'm not necessarily merged into it like that, that's why I always separate the two. But that's just me.
Right.
So,
got
but I
you.
definitely started. I would say when I actually started, post grad, maybe like 20. I ain't gonna say post grad date because everybody gonna be like, how old is she? None of your business. Writing. I actually got in writing. A marketing company that used to market big films hit me up, and they just wanted me to start writing on some of their marketing projects. And so that's kind of how I got entered into getting more contacts in the industry.
Got you.
And then I was always writing and always trying to pitch my shows and stuff. But prior to the web series that everybody knows me for, Side Chick, I was really like writing and pitching to television television networks. The only thing with that was they liked a lot of my ideas, but they just didn't know that I had an audience. So they were like, we need to know that people are going to respond to you. So they didn't want to just put money behind it. And that's when I went the indie route. That's when I was like, okay, so y'all like it, but you still want to test me. So let me just go out and see what I got, right? So before Side Chick, I actually had another web series that I was pitching. And what's funny was I don't know if people are hip to it. Black and Sexy TV was coming up in the web series world, as well as Issa Rae, and I had contacts, and so I was trying to get on their platform because I was like, they already have an audience. Let me just get my work on their platform. Boom, I have the numbers. And so I hit up Black and Sexy TV. They liked it. And one of the shows, I think they were transitioning out of drama. And at the time they wanted action. So it was like, that door kind of closed, but I still got the connection. And then with Issa Rae's, it was the same thing. I had a hair type concept and they were maxed with that type of content, and they
When
didn't
you
want
say
to.
hair type, what do you mean?
The show was centered around when the whole natural hair
Oh,
movement and
got
stuff
you.
like that.
Okay.
So they already had something as well, and the door, and we were working like hard, like it was back and forth because they loved it,
Right.
but it didn't go anywhere just because of the overload of the same stuff. So then that's when I was like, okay, let me just do side chick and put it on my own, put it out on my own, direct it on my own, all of it, write, direct, produce, and just see, one, do people like my writing and storytelling? And then two, how much of an audience can I grow? And so that's what started me on the indie route. But I would say my writing actually got me through the door as far as being in that circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got you. Do you feel the indie route? What do you prefer, the indie route or the mainstream?
The funny thing is, I've never really been heavy in the mainstream to even really know
Make
it
the
like
di-
that.
make the
So right now, I
But you
would
know
say
people that are in it.
that is true.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say like Ava DuVernay and the Mara Braca Keels and Issa Rae, they make it African American, of course, but they make it seem more humane than
They
what
do.
I am used to,
Right.
right? So the whole, you're really just money. And we care less about who you are, just do your job and go home, like that. Or the whole having to be hostile, like you can't even smile in the casting room, you just got to be mean looking and think you're going to get the best work out of people. So that's the atmosphere in which I've always seen Hollywood to be.
Yeah.
Disrespectful.
Yeah.
And so with the Issa Raes and the Ava DuVernays, they've added more of what I think is just the humane side of stuff, to where it's like, oh, okay,
I agree.
they're softening it up and they're bringing back love to the art. And so for that, I'll be open to it. But with that other mentality, absolutely not. And indie route, I only say, if money was available at all times, I would stay on the indie route, because you can
Right.
own and control and do whatever the heck you want.
Right.
On the network side, and only know this because within the last year, I have been pitching a TV show to several networks, and the process I have not enjoyed. And then, people could say, oh, that's just because you're not used to it, right? But when you come out of being independent and running your own show, to now having to come under people to tell you what actor you need to pick or how to go rewrite that because we don't have enough, I don't know, Middle Easterns. Like, it's a whole different ball game, and you just have to find the right team when you're in that. So from my current experience, I will always side on the indie side, but then that money get a little tight, and then you're like, oh, that network got the money. So which one do you really want?
Right.
If indie came with money, I would stay on the indie side.
Yeah.
But I'm still exploring that. And even like right now, one of the TV shows that I am still trying to get picked up is in the works still. And so, in a year I might say something different. But what I can say is that new show, Bel Air, has shown me something different too. And I forgot his name already. The director and the creator, the young man, Cooper. He has talked about his process, and it just seems so like beautiful. And I think it's honestly because he has the right team. And even though it's been outside of his comfort zone, it all works together, but it's the team that makes that happen. And so, I mean, one, you got Will Smith behind you too. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with that. But I feel like once I get a taste of it, I'll probably be able to give you a more balanced answer.
Comparison. Got you. So I'm gonna switch gears on you real quick. Excuse me. And I want to talk about some aspects of directing. you'll be teaching me a lot because Lord knows I don't know much about directing, but in my head, I'm a director.
Yeah.
And I think most writers feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, my first question is, what is a director's role in pre-production? What are you responsible for in pre-production?
So I'm like, I'm probably gonna be answering this because I'm on the indie side, and sometimes we be doing everything. So now I got to go in my head like, all right, let me break up
if you're
all the.
speaking from the indie side,
So
then that's good. Anyway.
Well, to really execute the vision. So in pre-production, let's say you have the script because I write all my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if you gave me a script and I'm gonna read through it, the first thing I'm gonna do is kind of get a tone and a feel of what the show or the movie is gonna be like.
Mm-hmm.
And so colors, and this is not necessarily in sequential order, but these are just things that
Just tell me what you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would look at the tone and the feel of it to even start getting the idea of, oh, is this like gonna be darker colors? Is it gonna be more lit? Not necessarily like everything's lit up and it's flat, but just getting the idea of the colors to tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
Then I will think of, I'm also thinking of angles. So I'll break it up and I'll start taking scenes to, once like the tone and stuff is figured out, then I would take the scenes and then I would start breaking it down to the storyboarding.
Right.
The storyboarding will pretty much.
Do you storyboard for people that are giving you scripts as well?
Does it actually take scripts yet?
Okay.
Okay,
but you would.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, not yet though.
Okay.
I got so much. I mean, when I say I have so much content,
I know
it's so hard to want to touch anybody's stuff.
Yeah.
When.
Yeah.
Like I got.
We worked on. I mean, I helped you on one.
I know. I got like 3 features.
Yeah.
I'm writing, and this is the very first time, and I know we're gonna get back to directing.
Yeah.
But this is the very first time I even wrote and attempted to write a feature film for someone else, which I'm currently writing and ain't done yet because it's different. It's a different journey.
I totally understand because that's what I do as well.
And then I have 4 pilots. So
okay,
it's gonna be hard to just want to direct somebody else's stuff when I got so many stories living in me.
Right.
But if you did give it to me, like I said, the tone, and then I would go to the storyboarding. But after sitting down, and I think this is why I do it, because I am a writer first. So as a director, I want to sit with you and understand what is in your head, because what writers could be directors if they just understood how to do it.
Right.
Because when we write, we see.
Definitely.
We are telling the story. And when the director comes, they tell a whole different story.
Yes.
And that will hurt your feelings when you poured all that time and effort into writing a 90-page or 180, however long the script is.
That's why they don't allow writers to come on the set.
But some do, because some appreciate it. But
that's new.
Nah, I've even there's a few, and I saw some interviews where they talk about it, and that's just understanding and appreciating the writer.
Definitely.
There is a fine line where the writer got to step back and understand that you did hand it over, right?
Yeah.
So it's gonna look different. But there are some directors that actually appreciate the story and how it was told, and now they want to get as much information from you,
right,
to then be able to add their spin on it, right?
Yeah.
So I would sit with you and get as much, because there's backstories that I don't know.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And so maybe because I'm a writer director, that's gonna be more me. A lot of other directors probably like, what is she saying?
Right.
But you asked me about my process. So yeah.
And I asked you because I know that that's what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel that directors should do that. I mean, that's just me.
Yeah.
As a writer, I feel like they should do that. And I think that if they did that, and especially Black directors.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I hate to single us out, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think that we would have better content.
Yeah.
Our content will be so much better if
Yeah.
you did know the backstories, if you did do your shot lists,
Yeah.
if you did break your scripts down, if you did do your storyboards.
And the other thing too is I would want to know some of the backstory as a director, because I got to sit with these actors.
Yes.
Like, okay, you gave me a story and I got as much as I can, but there might be some more like in your head that
Yes.
can just add to now my direction of even helping the actor
I totally
do
agree.
their job. So for me, that's how I would do it. And then if I had to make you take a step back, that would be because I got all the information I knew to honor the story that we're collaboratively telling.
Got you. I got you.
Yeah.
So we're going to jump into the production of it. And, you know, if I go off course, just pull me back in.
Okay.
Because, you know, for me as a script supervisor, I'm just watching what a director does.
Yeah.
But I just want to ask you a few questions about the production side of it. What do you think is a good qualities of a good director? Because I know you're very vocal on Instagram. We're gonna talk about some of those videos, and it's crazy. I agree with everything that you're saying.
Yeah.
So what do you think is a good qualities of or qualities of a good director?
One, understanding that it is a collaboration. And again, it is different because I'm more attached to the projects because I do write it. And so even if I had to step out of that and just talk about, like I said, if you handed me a script, understanding, yeah, I am showing up on the scene to direct, and that might be it, but it is a collaboration. So you are not a god when you come on the set. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like it's everybody. Now, if it look crazy, they are gonna blame the director. I ain't gonna lie. But it is
You know it.
man, it's a collaborative effort. And I think understanding that first will help with humility, right? But then man, I'm an actor director. So
Yeah.
trusting your actors, I feel like, is the essence of being a good director. Not moving them around, like I said in one of my videos, like they're pawns on a chessboard, but truly allowing them to bring themselves to the project, allowing them to bring the skills that they've learned and they study and that they do into their characters. One thing that, I like to do, and I know people are like, that's wasting time. But if you have it, I love creating blocking with them. Like you have an idea in your mind already of, okay, we know we can't cross that table right there just because we're going to be out of the shot. But for you to get from the refrigerator to the table, even though you can't pass that table, how do you still want to flow through that?
Right.
And help me help you, because I still want the characters to be as believable, and so that means the actors have to be as comfortable. And so even little things like that, but honestly collaborating with talent is gonna make you just even better. And in listening, every actor is not the same, so there is no one way fits all.
Right.
You can't say, well, do it as if. That's not gonna work. You got to understand each actor to a point. Sometimes, like a child, like having a whole family with all these kids, you can't whip this one and put this one in timeout.
Right.
Like, or whip all of them. Johnny might need you to talk to him because he's a different kid. And so that's the same with being on set and with learning talent, is learning how to talk to them to get the performances that you need out of them. And so listening is going to be big. Listening and watching, because sometimes actors don't even know even what they're capable of.
Right.
But using your senses, that'll help you.
Instincts.
But and I think that literally trusting your actors to do their job will make you so much better. And I am one too where I do listen to my DPs. I communicated to you exactly what I want. And I might be like, yo, I don't care what happens, I need this. And they might say, in your mind that look good, but in this camera, it's just, and again, being collaborative, just trusting we're all here to make this project be the best that it can be.
Mm-hmm.
So step out of your ego and what you want sometimes,
Yes.
and trust everybody that is on your team. So
For sure.
yeah.
Go back 1 second.
Oh.
Can you explain blocking real quick?
So blocking is pretty much where you have talent and they can't really, and you have camera set up. So you set your cameras up, and some people already have the scene already set up, and you need to direct your actors where they can move and how they can move within the scene so that they're not stepping out of frame or stepping out of the shot of where the cameras are presented, and or sometimes the lights.
Gotcha. Another question.
Mhm.
Do you believe in rehearsing?
Yeah, I don't mind it at all, especially when, heck yeah, because I could save time and money if we get that done in rehearsal. Like, oh, remember that time in rehearsal when
Right.
you did? I mean, and it might change just a little bit,
Mhm.
but I think at the end of the day,
That just makes sense.
you just rehearsing the scene and get it.
Yeah.
And so, and actors, I mean, they know how to do what they do. So whether we are in a gym practicing a scene or, you know
Mhm.
what I'm saying, actually on set, it's going to be just fluid and faster. And then I think it really matters, and it's determined on the type of story too, because if I have a character where they're not supposed to like the co-star, I'm not going to put them in the same room.
Gotcha.
You know, that might be an instance
Oh, that
where
makes
I'm like,
sense.
let me keep
Okay.
them separate and then have them on set together. So, you know, you just help people stay in character mode. Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's something I never really thought about.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
But a lot of people don't rehearse.
I know.
And it's cool, but man, I'm like,
Right.
yo, practice make perfect. And it's no different than having to do 5 takes.
Every time.
We got to do 5 takes. If we kind of practice, we might have just been doing 2 or 3.
2 or 3. Exactly. Totally agree. What are some good qualities of an assistant director? Because you've had some good ones.
Yeah.
You've had some good ones.
I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know if this is going to be the right answer. Like,
It's your answer.
I know.
Yeah.
Man, understanding the way your director moves
Mm,
to know how to best support them.
no doubt.
And I think that's what a lot of my ADs, and one main one being Tefera,
Mm-hmm.
like, and I think
She'll
she's
be on
been
next week.
A1.
2 weeks.
Oh, you got it coming on.
Yeah.
I think she's A1 because she does understand me as a person and how I work. And so she was never in my way. If anything, she was always just supportive. And she did her job like efficiently.
100.
And from keeping me on schedule, keeping everybody on schedule,
Yes.
sometimes calming me down. Like, she probably did a little bit more than what an AD is supposed to do. But for me, that has always made me appreciate her and always want to bring her back. And I understand too why people are always like, it's about relationship. Once you start working with people and y'all start flowing together, man,
Yep.
everything's just that much better. But one thing that I can say was she was always efficient and, man, quick. She was quick too. It was never, you dragging your feet. She was always moving, always finding ways to solve problems.
She has good resources.
Man.
Yeah.
And on top of that, just understanding how a set is supposed to flow as well.
Yep.
So bringing all of that knowledge is what I think also helped her just become like A1 in my book.
Yeah. Do you think script supervisors are necessary?
Yeah, for continuity purposes. Man, if you weren't there half of the time on that set, we would have had so many wrong lines. And not that they're wrong, because there are some times where, you give the actor leeway,
Mm-hmm.
but there's certain key moments and things that have to be said, one for another actor to pick up and just to make sense. So you might freestyle and it's like all good and we could keep it, but dang, you forgot to mention the whole thing about the whole scene was supposed to be about your mom.
Exactly.
And you didn't even mention your mother.
Right.
So now it's not going to make sense for the 5 scenes down the line. So yeah, I think having a script supervisor is super important for continuity, especially when you have creative actors that just want to,
Style.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've dealt with a lot.
Yeah.
And, what do you do when they're changing the context?
Yep.
And
keeping them on board to say like, all right, guys, there's no correlation between A and B. So now we got to create a line. You help us keep the story on point and moving forward, and not missing a beat. So heck yeah. And ever since I linked with you, I was like, I learned what a script supervisor was.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, absolutely never going without a script supervisor. And I know sometimes some actors are like, just because I didn't say this word. Yeah, we need that word in there. And they used to jump on you sometimes.
Oh boy.
But know your lines.
But hey, I have tough skin, so it didn't matter. It did not matter at all. Man, so I'm going to ask this question.
Okay.
I want to go to the next question, but I want to ask this question. How do you deal with unprofessional talent?
Well, I can't even say, were they unprofessional or were they just different?
Who?
You said who? I'm not gonna say names.
I didn't say it fast enough.
Nah. I try not to work with them. And because I have been casting a lot of my own talent, it would be on me to be like, oh, suck that up. You picked them.
Yeah.
But I usually vet the talent that I work with so that I can get as close to having a professional actor as possible.
Yeah.
Now, when you find out like, oh, you wasn't on point with that one. Really, I mean, in this situation, I had to have several conversations and stuff was deeper than what it was. And
I can imagine.
It was like, oh, you're consistent. I need you on here. But there were times where I'm like, I'm just going to have to replace you. I mean, they do it in soap operas all the time. You're like, Johnny was light skinned. Now Johnny's dark skinned. All right, whatever. And you just, you fall back in line with the story. And you try not to do that, but it really just depends on why they're unprofessional. And if you're showing up late, no, that's different. But I got to the level too where I am trying to work with more professional actors, and so my vetting process is even tighter. Like I'm not trying to play that game because that's your work ethic. Like I don't care if you are SAG or if you're non-union, if this is an independent project or if this is a Netflix project. If you're always late on my projects, I'm thinking that's your mentality. And it's worse if that's not.
Right.
It's worse if you're going to always show up on Netflix, but you're going to sit here and come late. That's definitely somebody I don't want to work with because that's an integrity issue at that point. Right. So I try not to work with them. Yeah, but I do have a strong vetting process.
Gotcha. What is the director's role in post-production?
Oh, man. Editing, music, like.
But see, you're doing all your own stuff.
That is true.
Yeah.
So maybe you don't need to ask me this.
Yeah.
I mean, they still have to follow through with the editing because I mean, like, again, you are involved in that process because you have to see the story. You have to see the story through.
Yeah.
So. Okay, let's say.
But that would be typical.
There's some directors, and no? I don't know. Maybe it's the wrong circle that I'm talking about right now. But there's some that's like they don't sit in the editing sessions, and I'm like, so you just let your editor cut the story because that could be a different story than what you want. Yes. But maybe that could be relationship too. If you expressed all of what you wanted, I guess. But on the other side, yeah, you're supposed to see that story through. So definitely in the editing room. But beyond that, I really can't answer what they all do up in the network because, like you said, I do wear several hats. But as a director, and I don't know if this is because I've been conditioned this way because I'm indie, or if this is just what I've learned to fit the role, but music, I always hear music. So I always want my hand in what the sound of the film is going to be like. So do that. I feel like it varies. And I know I can't really speak too much on the network side of stuff because I'm like, they have like thousands of crew members. Sometimes I'm like, why you need, what is he doing? You know what I'm saying? But that is the indie side.
The editor.
Yeah, that is, yeah. Or like somebody.
Do you use the script supervisor notes?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. And sometimes, because I trust you,
yeah,
I don't double check some of them. I don't throw stuff away.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, she definitely said, I said take 3 was the best. I'm not going to look at 2, 4, 5.
That's
take
good.
number 3. And that saves the time. But that's also trusting that you actually, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did your job and wrote what you heard me say.
Yeah. If I don't, I'm going to ask. I'll be like, Ashley, what'd you say? Say that again.
And that's why I can't trust that. So I'm not going to go over the work. And that's another thing why picking your crew is so important.
Yeah.
I don't like micromanaging anybody. Right. So I don't want to come back behind you. I want to know that the job is done. That's why I picked you. Yeah. Oh, you did it? Okay, cool.
Definitely.
But there's some that's like, I can't do that. And that's so much time away from other things. But post-production, from what I do know, one of the tasks is following through on editing and making sure that at least, you know what I'm saying, the story is the story. Now, music or the other stuff, I don't know that much, but I participate in that. And even now, like I'm working more with music supervisors, but I too like music. So I want to create original songs. I have a sound in mind, so I'm going to pick a music supervisor too. They got my my flavor, my style.
Your soundtrack for Side Chick was crazy.
Yo, but I like music.
Some of those songs I still remember.
But I like music, and so regardless of how a quote unquote director is supposed to operate in post production, is always going to be different for me because music is a second part to a story, and so when I write to music. I listen to the song sometimes to help influence my scenes. Dope. So I'm definitely not going to just remove myself when it comes to post.
But they do.
Yeah.
All right, Ashley. So we're going to switch up here. We're going to get into some writing questions.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I don't get a chance to pick your brain sometimes, but also
just picking all the technical stuff.
Well, okay, yeah. Well, I mean, because I'm trying to educate people at the same time. But I'm going to go back and forth. Yes. I'm going to go back and forth on this one because there's some things that people need to know. But one thing I want to know, do you think that writers should direct their scripts?
I feel like it depends on a writer. There's some writers where I feel like they just haven't been influenced.
I think some are just scared.
That too, but I think that also, we've always been conditioned to be in one lane. You are just a writer.
True.
You are just a director, and now you're seeing all of this cross, like, oh, write, direct, produce. Oh, okay. So now I feel like there are some people like, I don't want to handle all of that stuff. I really just want to write.
Do this, yeah.
When then that's cool. And then I feel like some are like in between, and I think the in between does come with the lack of knowledge and then the fear part. For sure. I can't really say yes, but I have influenced a lot more writers to attempt to direct their stories.
I think we should. I think we should.
Because you tell the story, like, And again, you'll know because you're a writer. Everybody's not going to understand. Like, they don't know how much you labor over a script and you spend time with these characters. Like, they talk to you in your head. Like, we be
all the time
out here looking like we're crazy.
No doubt.
You know, even sometimes I'm like, oh, you know what? She didn't tell me how she wanted that scene to end yet. They were like, what you talking about? You spend time with these characters.
No doubt.
So who best to tell it and direct it than you? And
Yeah.
yeah, you might not know all of the like the science and the colors and all that
The
stuff, but that
technical
stuff
stuff.
you can learn
Learn.
and or find someone that has a lot of knowledge and can strengthen that area that you lack. Just because you don't know, like, I am not at all a B student when it comes to, or A student when it comes to lighting, but I know some things. So what am I going to do? I'm going to hire somebody that is an expert in that and communicate what I need. Therefore, now we got the job done. So it doesn't always mean just because you don't know, you can't get things done.
Right.
So yeah, I would definitely encourage the ones that are unsure. The ones that know they just want to write, absolutely not. Just stay in that lane.
Right.
But for the others, I say try it. Try it with something small, like a short film
Right.
first. You know,
Right.
you might like it.
Yeah. What's subtext? So we're back into writing.
Writing stuff. Okay. So subtext is saying something without sometimes saying it. Like, I hate you. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just take that phrase. I hate you. Instead of saying I hate you. I don't even know if that's a great example right now. Hold on. It's pretty much the underlining feeling of what you're not saying. So I'm trying to.
So it's basically showing but not saying?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mhm.
So even if you're like, hey, how was your day? The day sucks. It's good.
Okay.
You know,
Yes.
there's something more and there's deeper, but that's one form. Another form is sometimes, like, let's say, trying to think of quick
You do
examples
it.
off the top
You
of my
do
head.
it.
I know, but
Yeah.
like, we could be talking about a basketball game, but that basketball game is really not about the basketball game. It's really about somebody's relationship.
Mm.
So I don't have the exact definition of what it is because I just know what it is, but it really
He
is.
put it on the screen. He
You want-
actually
you
put
want-
it up there.
You want the right?
No, I want exactly what you just said.
All right. You're gonna have to
Nope. Nope,
okay.
I'm not. Mm-mm. Nope.
But yeah,
Um,
it's usually having an underlining meaning of sometimes what is expressed that might not be
Said.
yes.
Exactly. There you go. Do you think flashbacks should have dialogue?
What?
Do you think flashbacks should have dialogue?
First of all, I'm like,
No, because some people feel that flashbacks should not have any dialogue.
that's funny because I definitely have a dialogue in one of my flashbacks.
I know. And so do
I mean, I feel like it depends on the scene. Sometimes it might just be, you know, let me just show the mom and dad existed in a flashback,
Right.
and there might not need dialogue.
But I
and then
mean, there are some people that feel
Wow.
that flashbacks should be straight, just MOS, no dialogue.
so I'm already gonna be outside of the box with
Oh, I
probably
am
half
too.
the stuff that a lot of people say
sure.
because I feel like even the way we've learned to write, and again, I've been doing this since the beginning. Like, I started writing when I was 7, and I
Right.
started going to art school and all of that stuff. And well, sorry, not art school, arts camp. But I took my first screenwriting class in my freshman year of college.
Mhm.
And that's when technique started coming in, all the technical stuff.
Mhm.
What I will say now is what's interesting is all that stuff I learned and all these scripts I'm reading now, it don't even line up.
Right.
And things evolve. And so when it comes to a lot of the technical side, when you learn how to tell a story, that's never going to leave you. But saying, oh, you got to hit the first 5 pages and you got to make sure that on page 5, we know what the story's about because
Right.
you said, oh, somebody's gonna die. We know this is about somebody dying in
Right.
this film. It wasn't until my best friend was like, you are very technical. Like, she had to bring me back to the point, and I'm like, nah, this is structure. This is how you tell the story.
Right.
And she was learning how to write, and so for her, it was just like, can I just tell the story?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, you can tell the story, but... And then I was like, oh, I think I am a little bit more structured than sometimes I even want to be.
Mhm.
It's just because I've been conditioned to be like that.
Right.
And so even when I was trying to teach her how to screenwrite, I saw how free she was. And it wasn't that she didn't know how to tell a story. It was just she wasn't thinking about what page to land on.
Mm.
Or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're writing a show, act 2 got to be around this. And
Right.
so shout out to my best friend Chastity. So
Hi,
because
Chastity.
she is really the one that brought my attention back to it. And so
That's
moving forward, because again, I do know how to tell a story. And there are some things that's just not gonna leave, but I don't necessarily worry about landing on certain pages
I
or...
don't think you should.
And I think that also takes away the audience experience. And there was an interview that I was watching on YouTube. I forgot who it was with, but the culture of film, everyone knows when that camera pans a certain way, somebody's behind the bushes. Or if we know within the first 10 minutes, something's going to happen to where we know maybe what the film's going to be about. And I'm thinking now that would take away from the audience experience because now they're conditioned just to know how the film's going to play out. Not necessarily all of the middle, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
How the story's going to actually turn out. But again, certain camera angles, because we've learned the language of film, it kind of takes away the whole experience because we're like, awesome. Yep, he gonna die. I mean, and some of it is cool because it's like we're all on the same page, but it almost takes the suspense again
Yes.
out of the whole story. So I am learning to break out more of the technical box.
Mhm.
And I do believe that to structure is still good to understand.
It is.
Just
Because
because
you need a story.
right. And I mean, it is a science. There
Yes,
is a
it is.
science to it.
It is.
But
for sure.
being able to be flexible and free as well to tell it outside of how someone tells you to tell the story.
Mhm.
So with the individual, I'm not going to listen to them about no flashback and not
Me
having
neither. I
dialogue.
just wanted to
And
ask.
for their story, you know what I'm saying? It
Right.
might work out, but for mine, it ain't gonna make no sense. So, heck no.
I got you. What's the difference between a spec script and a shooting script?
A spec script is more well, a lot of people use spec scripts to, like, if they want to be a part of a writing team,
Mm-hmm.
they might create something just to show that
It's for the
they're
marketing, right?
Mhm. capable. And some specs are like, a lot of them try to get in the writer room,
Okay.
the writer's room on specs.
I got you.
And again, just to figure out where you fall within, if you wanted to be graded, I guess you could say.
Right.
A lot of people use spec scripts for
Mhm,
that,
mhm.
just for showing your talent a little bit
Mhm.
more.
Right. And the shooting script.
Oh, the shooting script that's what we filming with.
I know, but what, like, because there's a significant difference in them. I think the way they're worded. I think the shooting script might have camera.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, you're talking about, all the directions and
All the
stuff
directions.
like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was funny because I don't be using that.
I know you don't.
So
use the
you
spec
asking me
script.
all these industry questions.
Yes, of course I'm asking you.
And
'cause
I'm
people need to
independent.
know. No, but still, I mean, you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
still give it from an independent standpoint, how we do it. But no, you're right.
And-
We don't use the shooting scripts. We don't really need them.
And the only ones with is me, the DP,
Mhm.
the AD, and even maybe the script supervisor that will have
A full
all of that. But when it comes to any script that anybody else, especially like table reads and all that stuff,
Mhm.
I don't want you paying attention to that.
Right.
I want you to just read because that's the writer side of me. I just want you to read the
Read
story.
script, right.
After
And they
that-
shouldn't.
Right. And
Yeah.
after that, like, I mean, the shooting script will have scene numbers and stuff like that, but
Right.
I'm not gonna write my directing notes and stuff on a script that has to go to my talent.
Okay.
I don't want them, and again, I personally would not want them to even see that ahead of time, because sometimes I might want to surprise you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I've
like
actually,
I said, I'm gonna be doing all things Ashley way.
but I've actually had a director ask me for a shooting script. Actually wanted me to show him what I saw as far as camera angles.
You was the script supervisor?
No. I was writing.
Oh,
Yeah, I was writing.
See, I think he appreciated you.
Yeah, I guess he did.
Because
But I was,
that's you
I
doing
was-
his job.
Exactly.
He didn't want to do his job.
was-
he wanted to get paid. He just
I
didn't
was
wanna do his job.
so confused, like, huh? You want me to do what? So crazy. Okay, last writing question.
Okay.
What are beats?
I don't know.
You know, yes, you do.
I mean, those are like
Ashley,
They're-
I'm telling you, people don't use them right. They do not use them correctly.
well, this is because you read so many daggone scripts.
I know
More
more than I want to.
no, okay. I don't know the technical definition, so you could give it to me.
What?
A beat.
I don't know what the technical definition is. I just know that beats are used when you want to show like a pause.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You said you don't think they're used correctly, and it's funny because I'm thinking about the script that I just wrote, and I got mad beats in it. Now, I try not to add the beats because, and again, me being a writer-director, and most of the time I'm going to direct the stuff that I'm writing.
Right.
So I don't always have to put a beat in. I'm going to communicate to the actor what the scene's about.
Right.
And they might tell me and perform it totally different. And they might put a beat somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm going to give you the script, I'll put a beat in there. Now, some people say that's not something that don't tell people when to pause.
Right.
But they do need to know when, like, this is a serious moment. We just shifted. Yo, take that break.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead. And
Exactly
execute.
right.
But I don't know.
No,
Man.
you said it.
I
just
know,
said it.
but I'm saying I don't know. I'm not talking about the definition. I'm talking about, like, I don't know if I would even continue putting those in my script, but that is because I will direct the actor.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But it's funny, writers are putting it in there and they're not directing anybody. It's like,
That
okay,
is true.
why did you put that there?
Because
know?
you was just laughing, and now there's a moment where we need you to take
Stop
a pause because
laughing.
you're about to cry.
Right. Right, and you can't put that in there.
Nah, you can't put
Okay, so we're gonna switch gears again.
more questions. I'm
No,
going to school right
but
now.
no. We already talked about directing
Okay.
and writing. Now I just want to talk about some of the videos that you put up on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first one that comes to my mind is the one about the videographers.
Oh man.
What's
the
up with the videographers? Are they charging DP rates and don't know what DP
I honestly don't think the videographers even know they're doing that.
Okay.
I think there's, and I'm gonna be careful because that is not really my area. However,
Right.
I'm hiring you, so man. So there
There
are
she
some
goes.
videographers. A lot of people with a camera just think that they're a cinematographer
Mm.
because they got a few lights in a backpack,
Yeah.
and that's not what makes you a cinematographer.
Mhm.
And I take that seriously because I've worked with videographers on projects and I work with cinematographers. And let's not get it twisted. Videographers do sometimes develop into DPs.
Mhm.
So I'm not saying that that's not something they can do, but there are some people where they are just their lighting knowledge, 3-point lighting,
And that's it.
it's the basic lighting.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And that's it. They don't have not just the science behind stuff, but the understanding a story and knowing the best way to bring that story to life with
Right.
lights. Or like some of the best DPs that we worked with, they were able to literally,
Call it.
turn. We could be shooting at midnight, and it looks like the sun just came out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so it really is a knowledge of lighting, but also within storytelling, knowing how to apply it to tell a story, and just the knowledge and the science. So yeah, there's some DPs that literally they just have a great camera. Some people even have Reds, and they're like, I'm a cinematographer, bruh. The
Just
camera's
because
the
you have a
only
Red.
thing doing the job. You're not a DP.
Right.
I feel like I'm in my video again. You're not a DP. You got an awesome camera, and it removes a lot of the work that you might need to do.
Right.
But you just got a dope camera.
Right. Exactly.
You don't know composition.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Okay. Next question. So you spoke.
Those cameras make the job hard.
Uh,
If you don't know what you're doing with a red, like my cameras, I can put a filter on it, and nobody ever know the difference. But a red, if you don't,
Is
know,
complex.
yeah, because and it does show a lot more. And
The red
stuff,
is
too.
complex. Yeah.
But sometimes it also, I'm saying like, because it does really good in like in dark light. You know what I'm saying? Dark. Yeah. So it's sometimes less you have to do at midnight. And again, the camera is not what makes the person. The person makes the camera. I know some people that shot with Canons, and you'd be like, yo, what did you shoot with? Because that was way better than somebody that shot with like, I don't know, Sony or Alexa.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm being extreme, but there are some people that really just know, because it's not, it don't stop at the camera. It's really about, it's about the light. Like the lighting has quality, but it don't even stop at the lighting.
Mhm.
That's a big part.
Mm-hmm.
But even sometimes the colors, what are the people on camera wearing? What does the set look like? Like
Right.
that's the stuff that I haven't been able to visually get into in my own projects yet.
Mm-hmm.
With the other, the other stuff, but
Yeah.
that was just because the focus was on the writing and just getting stuff out there.
Mhm.
Oh, but now,
It's on.
we not. Oh man, man, it was gonna be on with 3.
I
but
know.
But man, we had that color going. We had certain man.
It was dope.
Yeah, but you're gonna see that more in my work. So
Yeah, for sure. So you did mention something about, and we actually had something like this happen on set for Side Chick 2, where we had an actor have to do a really, really hard scene, and she had to cry. You mentioned, yeah,
I was like, who?
Chloe,
Yeah.
you mentioned about mental health resources on set. How important is that?
Man, extremely important. And I can't speak for others because I'll be running my own. But we've even had somebody lose somebody on the set of and I'm a big believer, so like prayer was everything. And
Mhm.
they found out like one of their relatives, it was like a real emergency.
On Side Chick?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
It was like a real emergency.
Wow.
And I was like, yo, you need to go home?
Mm.
Do you need to be there?
Oh, wait, I
Because
think I do remember.
I'm not about to just keep this whole thing going. And I know, again, some people are like, nah, this is money, so you need to stay up behind, get this scene.
Nah.
But I personally can't do that to a person.
Yeah.
That's a family member. That's a loved one.
Yeah.
And what does that say about me? You know what I'm saying?
And that would bring the whole morale of the set down. You're
I
good at keeping that morale up.
but even with that, it was just like, yo, if you want to go home, you can, but let me pray for you. And it was surprisingly so many other people that wanted to help pray too. And everybody got in a circle and they prayed for the individual. And that was even like, that gave her a form of peace.
Mm.
And she was like, you know what, I can do this.
Hmm.
Now, I know that's not necessarily, to me, that's mind, body, and spirit. Like, you are an individual. Yeah, you're great at acting or whatever, DPing and all that stuff.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, if your mind is not intact, if your heart is not together, then what good are you going to do anybody?
Yeah, performance is not going to
Especially yourself. And so we see a lot of that in Hollywood where people are,
Yeah.
just killing themselves.
Yep.
And I feel like a lot of that has to do with the hostile environment, and not just the hostile environment, but the lack of trying to get to the root of even why people are like that. I know
Right.
people are like, I don't got time for that. It shows.
Right.
And so
The
one
pressure
of the
that they
things,
put on you for performance and for doing it, getting it done.
man, and then on top of that, like, these actors have to play real twisted characters sometimes.
Yep.
And they don't know that method acting is real. Like, they live in this character's mind and body for however long to make you cry, laugh, or whatever. And so that's a real mental space that they have to go in, and sometimes very dark. And
Yep.
so why isn't there something for them to come out of? Like, oh, it's over, so you should be able to separate yourself. No, that's why some characters can't. I mean, some actors can't separate themselves for the character because they done lived in that mindset for so long, and that stuff is real. And so
They need
like,
a debriefing.
man, and so I think, like, not even just that, but sometimes people just come to set with bad days.
Yeah.
Why don't we have something in place? Like, I'm not saying we always gotta have these Indian powwows, but still, what I'm gonna do, like, moving forward, is I do want to have, like, some type of mental health coach or someone that someone can talk to, being able to have that open dialogue to where people feel comfortable expressing how they feel, because you bring all of that with you. I also don't want you always going home with it. So, like, I mean, for me, like I said, I'm a believer, so I'm gonna be. I always pray for everybody
Definitely.
on set. I start with prayer, I end with prayer. You might
Right.
believe in God or not. If you don't, then my prayer shouldn't affect you no way.
Right.
But I'm still gonna come in trying to create an atmosphere of love and peace and protection, so that everybody on set comes in with a healthier, positive, you know what I'm saying,
There was
mindset.
always good days on your set.
And a lot of people said it was like family, and I feel like there's so many people creating these atmospheres, and I just
Yes.
think, like, also having, like I said, a mental health coach, or even just, if you want to call it a spiritual advisor, whatever, to where you ain't got to tell me about your bad day, but there's somebody that you can tell them
No
about.
doubt.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that is really important, but I think that's the humane side of stuff, and that's when it becomes more about, again, mind, body, and soul. We're all coming together to do this thing that we love, versus you're about to be my cash. You get, you know what I'm saying? You just coins.
Right.
I'm saying coins. You're Bitcoin.
I've worked on sets like that. I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they
you know it. They
exist.
don't have to say it, but you know it.
Yeah, and I don't think whoever operates in a hostile environment, like,
You'd
Who-
be surprised.
what positive, there's
Yeah.
nothing, nobody can perform at their best in that type of,
That's just common sense.
yeah, but
It is. I know. It's not so common.
Yeah.
So how important is it for us to be at the top?
Man. Mm. Man, it's been important since, like, ever.
Yeah.
And as much as we keep getting to positions where we feel like we on top, somebody will always remind you that you're not.
Yeah. Yeah. You talked about
Um,
the casting director. As a casting director, you were sending this one client.
Oh man.
Yeah, and you made reference to Mackie and
Man,
Roman.
okay, that's why. Because it's simple stuff like this. I don't care what anybody says. We have a common language. Black people in America. Yeah, it's just culture. It really is culture that you can't even really put to words half the stuff that we all just understand. Or somebody in somebody's family did the same. Like, so with us being at the top, it would eliminate that when we're telling a lot of our narratives.
Definitely.
We just understand. We don't have to tell you, we need to hire someone that knows how to do hair,
Right.
because them wigs ain't working.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain things that we're going to pay attention to that
So
a lot of
true.
people are not going to care about
This is
because
true.
they don't understand. And
This
one
is
thing is age. Like, they did not understand or you know what? I'm not even gonna say that they didn't understand. I just don't think they were paying attention to it. So you want somebody in their early 30s, I'm sending you somebody that in real life is a little older than that.
Mm.
But you're like, they look like a college student.
Wow.
Because we age gracefully. You know, they don't always.
Right.
They don't always do so well in that department.
Right.
But
they don't even recognize it, obviously.
No.
Yeah.
But so even now I have to spend time presenting you with pictures because that's not something that you think about. And so I have to say, do you want the 30s to look more like this or like this? So I can figure out, okay, what age would that translate for us?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like my mom's probably, she might be 60 in a couple of years. Either way, she don't look it to some people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She still look like she's young. And we all got relatives, if not ourselves, that look like that to people. And so
right.
That would be one less conversation we would have to, you know what I'm saying? We would know how to talk to each other, but not even just for the simple things like that, but for power, for legacy, for generational wealth and all of that stuff. We can't own half of the stuff that we have.
I know.
And then we got to start all over and find other ways because, oh yeah, we had this great show, but oh boy owns it because they had the money.
Right.
And so we can't fund even projects that we believe in because we're not sitting in bigger seats. Or man, even from the movie theaters, I used to have a problem with the movie theaters. Like, why are there some independent films that ain't, not even some independent, some actually like backed by Lions? Why isn't it in everybody's theater? Because if you're not the owner sometimes of these theaters who get to say, I don't want that movie here. You get to minimize somebody's chances of making more money at your theater. So it goes like so deep, but just to be in a position to open doors is definitely, I would say, one of the main reasons. Money, ownership. Like, just think about all these movies you watch.
Yeah.
Who really owns it?
Who owns them? Exactly.
You might get a good cut.
Yeah.
But who
is really getting the money?
I mean, and I actually learned a lot from the music industry.
Oh.
And I'm like, you got people, legends, still fighting for masters.
No doubt. Yeah.
I apply that to everything. Like,
MC Light just got hers. That's insane.
And
I know.
But that shows you how powerful ownership is to the point where they still don't even want to give it to you.
No doubt. You got to fight for it, which is insane. How are you fighting for your own stuff? That's retarded. It makes no sense.
Because that's money. That's that long-term money.
Yes, it is. So, Ashley, I want to know, where did the story of agency, where did that name come from?
I got to give shout outs to my uncle because he really is, he's like, man, all you do is tell stories. So, he really just came up with it off the top of his head. And I was like, yo, that actually works.
And I had to go looking for that.
Yeah.
I was like, she is holding out.
Yeah, because I don't advertise it because
no, I can't.
And that's the separation. Like, that's video production services where I hire, teams and stuff to do work for other people.
Okay.
So, and if I'm not always trying to do work for other people, I ain't gonna advertise it. So it's usually a lot of word of mouth because I'm focused on this film, TV stuff.
Yeah,
so.
I hear you.
But I would set a crew out real quick. Like Bronner Brothers was one of our biggest projects. Like we did a whole that was a fun one. It was like, what the heck at the same time. But man, we did a phenomenal job. And
you did.
I'm into with that company, the point of it really for me was to be able to step back and not have to always be in the middle of everything. Like, let me send you a crew to execute whatever job you need and make the money, but I ain't got to be there. Like, I'm trying to run stuff like a boss in that aspect.
You are running stuff like a boss.
Trying to
I mean, I've sat back and watched you lead entire sets and mentor people and
do that full time, like not have to worry about money at all.
Ashley, you dope.
Thank you.
Tell everybody where they can find you. Social media.
Social media, you can find me at ashmcart3. I'm on Instagram most of the time. I try not to always post, but you'll get a lot more in my stories. So if you follow me, you'll see more activity in my stories. I'm trying to post a little bit more, but I'm a private individual, so whatever.
Yeah, you are, but you're coming out your shell. I love it.
But my business side, though, LinkedIn, believe it or not, a lot of people be falling asleep on LinkedIn.
Come on.
And I am on LinkedIn, but you can just follow me on Ashley MacArthur. But Instagram, you'll probably get the most interaction with me. ashmcart3 is my handle.
Got it. So we're going to wrap this up right now. I want you to finish this.
Okay.
Step out.
And do what you were called to do.
Okay. And do what you were called to do.
Can I drop the mic now? Just
Yeah, drop it.
No. I'm not going to drop this. I'm not going to drop the mic.
I thought you were going to say on faith.
No.
But what you called to do is the same thing, basically. Yeah.
At first, I was going to say out the box. But I was like, that's too common. But
no, but I like what you said.
Yeah.
That's dope. So, yeah, that's a wrap. We're going to wrap this thing up. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to give a shout out to my folks at Finesse Clothing LLC. If you want to check them out, that's finesseclothingllc.com. You can find me on social media at filmmakerslab.com on all social media. And yeah, come back and see. Well, no, we air on Tuesday, 7:00. And come check us out. Come see what we're talking about in Filmmakers Lab. That's a wrap.